TG Geeks, episode 162, March 26th, 2018. How far does Anna have to look for her chi in the scape? Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the two gay geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane and we're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely, I'm worn out Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Ben Raggington, also coming to you from, you made my head hurt with that stinger of yours. Seriously. Wow, boy. And people will understand in a few moments exactly why that made my head hurt here in lovely Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes, we had a very busy week with all your overtime and all
yes,
the other
we had day jobs,
extracurricular activities that we had going on.
Lots of extracurricular activities, but
last couple of weeks, yeah.
We've, as we said many times, we have day jobs. I mean, we
have real jobs. This is not.
This doesn't. This is our hobby.
Exactly. That costs us money.
Yeah, we pay to entertain you.
Yes. And we have a real treat today. We are going to talk to Ms. Gigi Edgley.
Wow.
Who is Chiana
from Farscape. This was huge for us.
It was really huge. And thank you to Neil and Jana Halford for facilitating this interview for us.
I think we need to hire them as our booking agents.
Absolutely. We're going to get right to it in there. And this time on the show, we have a real treat for you. We've got Miss Gigi Edgley, who is best known for her role in Farscape. Welcome to the show, Gigi.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me, boys. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Oh, well, thank
you. We're quite honored that you would actually appear on our show. I mean,
yeah,
you're one of the I say probably the biggest celebrity we've had so far.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yay! I made the cut.
Yeah. So tell us about who Gigi Edgley is, and for our listeners that don't know you and don't know you outside of Farscape, because you have a really rich growing up and career that you've had before Farscape and since then. So tell us who Gigi Edgley is.
Sure. Well, I got into acting when I was a little girl because I never really fit in anywhere. I didn't know who I was, and I wasn't very good at talking to people and connecting with the real life. So growing up, my mum said I was always playing in the corner with the unicorns and the fairies and the make-believe world. And then I guess now I make a living out of it. So it's kind of worked out well. I went to, my first big gig was Chiana on Farscape. That was my first long-running series, and I went on to do that for one episode, and they really liked the character, and they let me stay on the ship for about just over 5 years, I think it was, all up. So that was a blessing. And since then, I've done a lot of work in Australia that you guys haven't seen over here, a lot of non-sci-fi material. I've had a really decent run playing great characters that are very strong and liberated and a very different range of characters, which is, I love to tell stories that are challenging and exciting, and I don't just want to play the same character the whole time. So I'm fascinated by this crazy world that we live in and all the different species and all the different weird and wonderful creatures on it, and I just adore playing make-believe with them. My whole life has existed from that.
Well, I saw that in your bio that you are a method actor, so that's how you approach what you do?
Yeah, when we went to university, it was funny because actually, I don't know if you guys, how well you guys know Farscape, but Dargo was actually the acting tutor at my university.
No kidding.
The year before I came onto, I went into the course. So he just left and I went into the course. So they brought in this crazy American method teacher, and they didn't quite know what to do with us because the acting was so on point, because it was really, organic and deep and real, but it was quite untamed. So that's sort of the way that I was technically trained. And I've had a weird and crazy life with lots of ups and downs. So it's kind of a really beautiful way to channel all the weird, I don't want to call it negative, but all the challenging stuff in my life. I've been able to actually transform into something positive by putting it into characters and by allowing me to go into a deep and dark and interesting place with these different characters that I play. So that's sort of how I approach it. I use lots of different techniques, but I find like I don't want to tell the story. I want to be in the story. The more real I can make it for you guys, then, which is funny because I did this little episode on Star Trek Continues, and I was getting ready in the corner, and the very first scene, she had to be quite emotional, the character. So I was sitting in the corner and really like digging deep, and I started crying, and the assistant director came over and went, "You okay? Is everything going to be okay?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm totally fine. Thank you so much. I'm just getting ready for the scene. And he's like, "Oh, okay, right." So then he ran off, and then like two seconds later, the catering girl comes up and says, "Oh, are you okay?" This went on for some time, and it was really cool. Like, it was such a beautiful, amazing, caring set to work with, and so attentive, And by the end, I'm like, "Yes, I'm just trying to prepare."
That's great.
So how did you get? I mean, I know the episode that you're talking about, "Come Not Between the Dragons." I remember seeing that. How did you get connected? Just because I love that show so much, I loved it. How did you get cast for that?
So beautiful Vic Mignogna, who plays Captain Kirk, where it's a really beautiful thing. I do lots of the Comic Cons, and it's so cool because the very first thing I say to everyone that I meet on the road is, thank you so much, guys, for supporting me and looking after me, because there's no way I would be around if you guys didn't watch the stories that I tell. So I'm only here because, the Scapers have put me here, and I'm only here because, fans and friends and family have been cool enough to watch the journey and support and help me along the way. So it's so awesome when you go to these conventions and you meet these beautiful people that have literally, you're both fulfilling each other's dreams by being there, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So with all that being said, along the journey, I've met a lot of amazing actors and voiceover artists and people that I've admired a lot along the way as well. And beautiful Vic Mignogna, I would always see him at conventions, for years, and would just be like, "Oh, hello." And then sure enough, at the bar one night, he was there and I was there, and so we got talking, and he's like, "Whoa, you've got some crazy stuff going on in your life, kid." And I'm like, "Yep." And he goes, "You know what? I'm going to write you a script." I'm like, yeah, whatever, we'll see. And then sure enough, that beautiful script came about, and I read it, and I was like, this is so beautiful. And I was a little nervous because I'd never done, a hardcore, a fan-made project, because I've had a decent run and everything, and even though I love and adore the show, you're kind of like, oh, how is this going to work in the greater scheme of things? And I was quite open with Vic about it, and then he said, "Look, will you just watch the show?" So I watched the show, I love the show, and he goes, "Would you just read the script?" So I read the script, and as soon as I finished the script, I'm like, "Okay, when do we start?"
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And that's one of the nice things about Star Trek Continues, and it's I think Vic is an absolute genius, because that show is I loved that show tremendously, and it was a joy being able to see you, and not just you, but so many other people from past sci-fi shows who have managed to make an appearance in there. Colin Baker, among to name a few. It was great that you were able to be a part of that. So I want to kind of talk about what you're doing now. Now, you have been...
Well, let's talk about these haunted hills.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what I was going to talk about, the haunted hills.
Oh, okay.
That's
Sorry.
where I was going.
Okay. You were on IMDb, and it's like,
no,
don't go there yet.
No. I want to talk about these haunted hills, because...
turn right, turn left.
Because
exactly.
That's why you're basically here. I mean,
that's why we're talking to you, anyway.
Because you got pegged to appear in this old-time radio drama that...
I'm
so happy about this.
So
it's cool
now,
because I get to use my natural accent first of all.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
that's
Not everyone
nice.
will
That's
be able to
great.
understand me.
okay. Side topic. Just a little sidebar question. How hard is it for you to put on fake accents?
I feel very comfortable with American because growing up in Australia, every single show pretty much that we watched came from America. So it's sort of subliminally in there, you know.
I see.
And then with Farscape, I was never really professionally trained. And I think as the years have gone by, you just pick it up as you go along and everything. But I like it when you can go into a different accent because you can really go deep into a character that's so far removed from yourself.
Wow.
And I even said to Vic on Star Trek Continues, I said, oh, obviously you want her American. He goes, no, I want her to be Australian. And I said, oh, wait, you want me to be breastfeeding with a cigarette and drinking a can of beer? And he's like, not that Australian. No, we're not that bad. We're not that bad. I'll get some flack for that.
So
I love it. I love it, but it's always very nice being also, you know, in your natural tone. And quite often, like my boyfriend goes, I hear an Australian, you know, I forget because I've been here for so long that I sound weird, you know, and I hear an Australian and I'm like, oh, I don't sound like that, do I, babe? And he goes, no, much worse. I'm like, what? 'Cause he's from Florida, so we'll sit on the couch. He goes, I have no idea what you're saying to me right now. Just text me. I'm like, I'm not going to text you. We're sitting in the studio apartment. There is no other noise. You listen to what I say, boy.
Oh my gosh!
Because I noticed that when you did Shauna, that you pitched your voice higher, and we've noticed that listening to a lot of a bunch of other actors who put on American accents that are like from England or from Australia and. Or from New Zealand, and you hear them speak naturally, but then when they put on, or even in America, but they have to put on like a Bostonian accent, and they will sometimes they'll totally repitch their voice. Is that something that you've used as a technique as well?
I think that it was very confusing for Chi because at first they wanted her American, and I think that they only wanted me for that one episode. So I figured it was just most of the characters that went on were meant to do an American accent, even though we shot it in Australia. And then when they thought I was going to stick around, I got pulled into the line producer's office, and who was Australian. He said, look, we love what you're doing, but we want to make Chiana Australian. And I went, we've already shot 3 days. How is that going to happen? Because I'd never acted in front of a camera before Farscape. There was a couple of little guesties I did on other shows, but nothing like to this extent, that was this massive budget or anything like that.
Right.
So I had no idea about ADR or dubbing over, or I just thought what you record on the day is what you get. So I said, how are you going to do that? And they said, oh, we'll dub over it and whatever. And I was really confused because the voice is a big part of the character, obviously. And for eight rounds of auditions and several months, she was American to me, which is a lot more sexier and a lot more sleek. And which is funny because I speak to a lot of Americans and they're like, no, we really like the Australian accent. I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? But so I guess it's just part of. She was just super sultry as well and a naughty minx, and so that's where she was up there, she was a bit more, whereas I'm a bit rough. She's a bit more rough than Chi. Chiana is, I can't even, she was so brave. Like, I think that if I wasn't in all the makeup and I wasn't blessed with all the other bits and pieces, I probably wouldn't have been as brave as if I had human makeup on. There's no way I would have done some of the choices that I made with her. Like, it was so cool that makeup was 3.5 hours, every single day for 5 days a week, 16 hours a day for over 5 years. And it gave me so much courage and all those movements and everything. No one ever said, move like this, do like this. I just saw the creature looking back at me and I went, oh my God, I'm going to make her like crazy. And, and then like started mucking around with movements. And that's sort of where she sort of, I think she kind of found me rather than me finding her.
Wow.
The voice, the movements, all that jazz. But it's been super cool because for the last, 15, 20 years, almost every weekend I do the Comic Cons and I get to work with amazing people like Neil and Star Trek Continues, and like a lot of the shows that I've recently done have been self-produced and have all been made with fans and, like Kickstarters and crowdfunders. And it's so cool because as I'm getting further into my journey, I want to write my own stories more and I want to tell these stories. Like when I read Neil's Neil's Uncharted Regions, I was like, this is awesome. This is exactly the kind of vibe I want. I want to tell tales that my mum's always got into me a bit, because she's like, come home and you can be on a nice Australian soap opera, which is great and lovely, and it will feed me, and it's great, but it's not where I want to be. Like I just feel like there's a bigger story in me to be told. So when I was chatting to Neil about it, he said, I specifically wrote this script with your voice in mind, so don't get offended when you read it, but that's what I thought. And I was like, great, I can't wait, it's awesome, and read into it, and I'm obsessed with it, and we're going into to record tomorrow, so I've been harassing him ever since he gave me the script. I'm like, when are we doing it? When are we doing it? When are we doing it?
Yeah. Well, that's great. So just for anybody that doesn't know, this is These Haunted Hills, and it's by Uncharted Regions, which is Neil Halford, Neil and Jana Halford's new production company, and this is the second or second. I thought they recorded another one.
Did they? Oh, maybe they have.
Maybe this is a second or third one that they have recorded of their old time radio show. And so I know that Neil never. He just surprises me every time.
He never fails to just completely bombast me with what he does or who he knows.
Yeah, and who he knows. It's like, oh my God, you know that person? And so how did this kind of come about? How did you get connected with Neil? I know that it's probably somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody.
That knew Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. Again, it's like we all work stronger when we work in a team. Like I figured out that's how people have succeeded in life, no matter what passion you're pursuing or what your line of work is. If you work together as a community and work with, side by side people, you're stronger as a group, So
Right.
That's why, again, I just adore this Comic-Con family. We are like a big family. It's so cool because the gentleman that introduced me to Neil, his name's Mark O'Bannon, and I've worked closely with him on many. He's introduced me to great Jimmy Diggs and to James Grenier and to fantastic people that producers and editors and writers and directors and actors, and it's all like this amazing, beautiful, close, crazy family. We all sort of support each other's dreams and help each other out wherever. So he said, oh, look, my friend Neil would love to chat to you about this project. I'm like, yep, fantastic. And then as soon as I heard about it, I've been stalking Neil and Jane ever since, really.
Well, that's really neat. I mean, Neil, I will have to say that Neil came into our lives about episode
it was for
20
Comic-Con.
or something like that, episode 20, or early on.
Early
on. And he has changed our show. I mean, and that was 4 years ago. And we have become supporters of independent creators through that connection with him.
That's
and
awesome.
It just, I mean, and obviously some of the big stuff too, but for independent creators, he has turned us on to so many different people that produce some incredible art, whether it's, comic books or it's films or whatever it is. And it's amazing how many people are out there making art and independently without the big money.
And of enormous quality, too.
Yeah.
I mean, have you had a chance to hear any of the already finished Uncharted Region radio shows yet?
No, I've been at the moment it's been quite action-packed life because similar to what we were talking about, where everyone's sort of helping each other out. My little brother is 10 years younger than me. His name's Jake, and we used to play a lot of music together when I was living in Australia. And a few years ago, well, actually before this, I was heading to Germany to do a FedCon. It's like this big comic convention over there. And I was literally, leaving for the airport, and he goes, sheesh, because we lived together at the time. He goes, oh, is it okay if I enter us in this competition? If we win it, this guy comes and sings in our backyard, and people come and watch. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. As I'm leaving out the door. So I go to Germany, travel around Europe, come back. He goes, oh, geez. I'm like, yeah, what? He's like, oh, yeah, we won the competition. I'm like, what competition? And he goes, you know, where the person comes and sits in the backyard and like 100 people come that we don't know and we have to host them. I was like, what?
And, oh, by the way, that's tomorrow.
Wait a second. When did you tell me about this? Because I told you. And I was like, okay. So my backyard, wherever I've lived, like at the moment I live in a studio apartment in Hollywood to exist, but everywhere else, you know, we've usually had almost an acre of a backyard that we have fairy lights and mirror balls and tiki torches, and, you know, that's just how we roll. So the yard was pretty much good to go. So we had this beautiful musician come over, and he was one of the runner-ups of Australian Idol at the time. And he just wanted to get into playing more of his own music, something that not the big hardcore poppy stuff, but the music that resonated to him. So he had this great idea of doing a secret garden tour where he would put online, I want to come around, you know, do you have a backyard, a bar, a, you know, cool venue that I can play at, and then we can, you know, you can host me, whatever, and everyone sort of wins. And I was like, that's such a cool idea. So sure enough, the night happened and it was amazing. And I was like, you know, when I moved back to the States, because I moved over here to shoot Jim Henson's Quiz Shot Challenge, and then we waited for a year for it to get picked up, and it didn't. And I was devastated because I'd moved my dog and my cat and everything over here at the time. So it was literally quite heartbreaking. I'm like, okay, there has to be a bigger reason why I'm here. I can't just pack up and go back because I have to put the animals through quarantine. There's got to be a bigger story to tell. So, and every time I drive past the Henson Studios, I'm like, come on, Kermit, show me the way. So I put on Facebook just for fun one time because I said, Jake, come and sing with me because I'm missing so much. And, you know, when we're together, it's just magic. And I said, hey, guys, you know, I really want my brother to come and, you know, come and do the secret garden tour. Does anyone have a backyard or whatever that we could play in? Thinking people would just be like, yeah, whatever, Gigi. And then by the time I rechecked in, which was a few hours later, it was the biggest response I've ever had on my Facebook page in the 15 years of having it, like the fan page. And I was like, oh, my God, this is actually totally doable. And people in the UK were like, we have an acre, and people in the States and people in Europe, and I'm like, Jake, this actually might be doable. So then I got distracted with work, and he got distracted with work, and then it's literally been a couple of years, and I went, you know what? If I pull this off, if we can do this, this will be the biggest, most courageous, most passion-filled project I think I've ever done, apart from, not ever, because it's your own made thing, you know. So I'm like, how on earth do I do this? So since I moved to the States, it's been quite nifty building sites. My boyfriend's like, how many sites have you got going? Because I've got one for my band, one for my other band, one for the, you know, the Wonderland tour, one for this. It's like, okay, enough with the site building.
Wow.
So I built us a website, and I said, hey guys, and you guys can check it out. I'd love it if you would. It's called wonderland.love. So like wander as in WANDER. LAND.love, and people can go in there and check it out. And we're literally over the months of like July, August, September, we're traveling from everywhere from Australia to the UK to all around America, and we're still open if people have ideas to host us or would like to come and watch us or even play with us, because we wanted to make it, we didn't want to just blow into a town and go like, yes, put on our show, see you later. We want to make it, get back to our grassroots and you know, go, okay, guys, who wants to come up and jam with us? Who wants to read a bit of poetry? Who's got a cool, you know, fire twirling trick or whatever? Like, we want people to all be part of each night that we go into in all these different towns. So that's the latest and greatest. So that's why I haven't got into all the other uncharted regions, because I've been wrangling, you know, the Wonderland tour, and literally calling up, like if fans respond on Twitter, I'll be like, what's your number? And then I call them up. They're like, is this really Gianna? I'm like, yeah, we're coming to your town.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. Well, if you ever make it to Phoenix, let us know.
Adventure.
Yeah. If you ever come to Phoenix, let us know, because I play guitar and I sing, so who knows?
Perfect. Well, we want to come to Vegas, so that's kind of close, right?
That's not too far.
not
Have you
too
ever
far.
thought about actually taking that and playing it at cons?
Yeah, so what we're doing is we are doing PsychoCon, because I've combined it with a couple of conventions, because I want there to definitely be where I know we've got a hotel and there's going to be people there and everything else. So we've got PsychoCon is where San Diego Comic Con we're still working out, But PsychoCon in Allentown is where it officially commences. And then we go to, I'll have to look up on the website, but then I think we go to New York, and then we go to Florida, then we go to Stockton Comic Con. We're doing that one. We're also doing Fantasticon at the end of it in the UK. So we have married it into a couple of conventions. And then in between that, we want to be performing literally every night and day and traveling around and meeting people and thanking them for coming on this cool journey and playing cool tunes with them, So that's the vibe.
Well, wow, that just sounds awesome.
I know. My brother thinks I'm mad. He's like, okay, we'll see. And I think he thought that I was making it up. And I've been like madly, from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, the last 3 months, I've been booking gigs, contacting fans, finding hotels, finding flights. Like he's like, oh my God, I don't know. I didn't know you were serious.
That's amazing.
Again, it has sort of that independent vibe to it that we're
100%.
big supporters of, and something that we've been saying for a long time is that if people were to go outside and just look at all the people that are working independently, they're not working with big record studios or big promoters or in terms of movies and TV, they're not working with the big studios there. There is just a chock full of talent that is out there that never, ever gets recognized. So the fact that you're taking this on, I think is just, that speaks to us in ways that we can't even describe.
Yeah, and we'd be glad to promote it.
A huge, you have that roar in your soul, and I'm like, I need to create. That's all I've ever done. I went for a waitressing job. They wouldn't accept me. They said, you're not trained. I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm not trained, but I could act like a waitress. I'm sure I could pick it up.
It's
really?
method.
I even tried to do the normal life, and they kicked me out. So I have no choice.
That's amazing.
I've had such a good run for, from, what was I think I started pretty much around 15 with community theatre, musical theatre, and then that leading into theatre, and then leading into film and television. And then when I moved to the States, it's just such a battling creature over here. And so many of the people in this town wait for the phone to call. And I'm like, you know what? No, it's probably a sign from myself or God, Zen, Buddha, universe, whoever's out there saying, pick yourself up. You've got an amazing story to tell. There's these beautiful people that have supported you as well. Give them what they need. Live your dream, work tirelessly to achieve it, and sooner or later the universe will coincide events to make it happen.
Wow,
right.
I love that.
That's my mantra. So let's hoping and praying, boys, hoping and praying.
Yeah. So I noticed on your IMDb page that you've got a couple of things. One thing that's
there's one thing that really caught our attention.
It says that
it's completed.
It's completed, and it's what is it?
It's called Diminuendo.
And I noticed that it has Richard Hatch in it, so obviously that was done before he died. And so is that eminently to be released, or?
It was the last project we did of Richard, and it's funny that again that we speak. It seems like this little chat of ours keeps coming down to something very, very. It's all about living the dream and believing in it. Because Richard Hatch, I would meet, ever since I've been doing the conventions, in the last 20 years. He'd always be like, what? Why aren't you in front of a camera right now? What are you doing here at these conventions? Why aren't you telling your story? You're crazy. You're unique. There must be somewhere that you fit, No matter what, he would always, whoever he met, he would pull you aside and say, what's your story? How do you want to tell it? How can you get that out? And always be constantly reminding people to believe in themselves. You're getting all choked up. And just an amazing song. And so then when he was doing this beautiful film, Diminuendo, he spoke to the director and the producers. He said, I have just the actress for it. And he put me into the film specifically because he requested it. And that's just the biggest, most amazing, pardon me, compliment ever.
Wow.
And so I went into the film, and it is coming out. They're actually premiering it on in August, in April. But I'm doing a convention that weekend. I think it's the weekend of the 22nd. They're premiering it at a film festival, and then I'm going to be joining them a couple of weeks later. I think the last weekend of April to show it at another film festival. So, and this film is amazing. It's beautiful because you see a lot of sci-fi actors not doing sci-fi, because I think it's very refreshing to realize that an actor can do everything. And even though we've been very blessed with the sci-fi energy, it's, you know, an actor's job is to be or do anything. So to see Richard and Walter Koenig's in it, you know, playing this crazy producer agent kind of, you know, very wheeling and dealing kind of character, and there's lots of familiar faces, and it's just such a cool story. So keep an eye out for it.
Yeah,
Definitely looking
Sorry,
for
I'm
that
all
one.
choked up.
Yeah, I would be very interested in seeing that because, you know, I mean, it says completed and has Richard Hatch and all of that. And then there's a new thing. Looks like a series.
It's a series called Body Jackers that's currently in
Pre-production,
That
so-
says that you play somebody.
Okay, cool. Again, this is an amazing. I know what kind of series is this? It sounds quite ominous, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So this is Santiago Cirillo, who's in The Walking Dead and many other series, and he approached me, pardon me, again through the convention circuit and said, "Hey, girl, you know, I need you for this series." I'm like, done. So we all work together, you know, and if I have an idea, I pitch it to the mob, and it's just a really nice energy. So it's going to be shot in his hometown, and it's pretty much, as you can imagine, a zombie series.
Oh, is that
Which
what
I've
it
never
is?
really done before.
Oh.
And my boyfriend thinks every morning when I wake up, I look like The Walking Dead, so I think I'll fit in fabulously.
Yeah.
Hey, why not? So that is really cool. Any other projects that you have coming up?
Uh,
That you can fit in between your appearances and your music. My
Great,
goodness.
ridiculous, amazing tour. Everything's been very exciting for me at the moment. It feels like life is like, when living in LA, it feels like it's Australia on steroids. You know, it's the highest highs I've ever had, and without a doubt the lowest lows. And it all changes within a heartbeat.
And trust me.
Don't you feel like it's just such a trepidatious state of affairs?
Yeah, I mean, even for us, even though we don't have any, we don't have any dealings with the big business, you know, and the big studios. We have had contacts with some of the smaller independent studios, and there are days where, I mean, it's almost schizophrenic.
Yeah, and mean, with this, I mean, with the podcast that we have and the website and trying to get the traffic and trying to do the things and getting, you know, various connections and all of this kind of stuff, it's a very bipolar, you know, you have this really fantastic high, and then
it's manic almost.
All of a sudden, you know, I posted on Facebook the other day, I feel like Clark Griswold, and I'm in the family station wagon flying through the air into a snowbank in Arizona, and it's like, what the heck happened? You know?
I know it well. That's like the synopsis of my life, boys. I'm like, how this girl is still living and breathing, I don't know. And it's very like, it's an interesting thing with the whole Facebook and Twitter. It feels to me like a bit of a double-edged sword. I love it, and I post way too much. And then I will go a whole day without posting, and I'll go, I'm just going to lay off it for a week. And then already I've said, hey guys, I'm just laying off Twitter for a while. I'm like, is that necessary that I need to inform people? It's like, what is going on?
I know.
Weird, because it's so cool because it's connecting us all, but in another way, it's totally removing us as well. So it's like, it's such a beast, you know. I love it and I adore it, but it's a tricky little creature, that social media thing.
Oh,
well,
my God.
But it's amazing when you think how far we've come. Like, remember in school, like in Australia, we had 4 channels that
yes,
move the rabbit ears on the television to work, and now we have iPads and iPods and desktops and laptops and iPhones and Samsungs, and it's just like, what?
We have 5,000 channels and nothing to watch.
yeah, right? Exactly.
Yeah,
Which is why I'm totally focused on trying to tell better stories, you know. I really, it seems like the biggest crazy idea to me at the time, but then when I look back at what I've done so far, I'm like, it's okay, you're on the right track. You've already been doing this, but I've been so blessed working with the big networks. It's so nice that you get on set and everything's ready to go. It's so to now be taking control and doing our own projects like the Wonderland tour and like Nexus and like Hashtag, and you know, and to be literally, you know, finding out where the catering is and the insurance is and the costumes is and the actors is and why they're late and how we're going to Uber them in. And like it's a whole different energy, but
Right.
it's time to step it up.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No,
Wow.
I certainly understand.
This has been really fascinating.
Wow. Wow. Talking to you has just been such a joy, and I don't know where else to go with this except to simply say, if people want to know more about you, because you have blown our minds, Gigi, you really have. If I didn't love you enough already, I think I doubly love you now. I mean, I think you're amazing. You're a wonderful talent,
you.
and I love your sight that you have in terms of your career, and you're right. It's not about quantity of stories. It's about the quality of the story.
And I love.
100%.
Go ahead.
100%, and it's all about we're all in this together, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially we've had a good taste living in LA, where you are amongst the rich and famous, and I've had a good taste of it through my life, and I've had a good taste of the fame side of things, and you get all of that, and then you go, what's it all about? It kind of feels like it seems to me, the further that I get along this adventure, I realize it's the simple things in life. It's working together, telling beautiful stories. This world is so crazy at the moment, so let's help each other out and you know, stop for a moment and have a jam, and stop for a moment and maybe entertain the idea of you know, making a cool project together, because that's what it's about. You know, when we leave, we can't take any of this stuff with us. So it's time to give each other a hand and tell cool stories. That's the vibe.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I love that sentiment.
I love your energy and your effervescence. You're just this big ball of positivity here, and that's wonderful.
It is. So
you, guys.
It's been wonderful talking to you. So the last question that I've got then is, if people want to learn more about you, and I would beg people, you know, do so, because Gigi, you are beyond amazing. So if people want to learn more about you and what it is that you're doing, do you have, I mean, you mentioned Twitter. Is there any other social media presence that you might have on the intertubes that people might be able to find you on and learn more about what you're doing?
You can find, I'm very easily attainable. My website, which is myname.com, gigiedgley.com, has links to my social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and also the latest project is wonderland.love, and I'd love it if you guys, you know, if anyone's interested in hosting us, playing with us, coming to see the show. It's from July to September. You know, this will literally, as I said before, be the biggest, most courageous, most passion-filled adventure of our life. So I open it to the people that, you know, have supported and believed in our story for this long. You know, this is the next cool adventure that we're all going on. And yeah, let's do it. I can't wait to meet you and hang out. And thank you so much for supporting and looking after me and sharing the love. It's very special to my heart.
Well, it's special to our hearts too, and it's nice that we are all kindred spirits in this crazy world.
Yes.
Yep, we need each other.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being on the show this time.
Yes, thank
Gigi
you so
Edgley.
much.
Thank you. Hey guys, my name's Gigi Edgley. I play Tiana on Farscape, and I'm the host of Jim Henson's Creature Shop Challenge. And you're listening to the amazing, awesome, amazing, brilliant, perfect, wonderful 2K Geeks. Mwah!
You could hear a little bit of Tiana in that, which was totally cool.
That was pretty cool. And here's a few selected birthdays for March 26th through April 1st, 2018. March 26th, Martin Short. Leonard Nimoy. You want to say anything about Leonard?
Only that it's fascinating.
Yes. And Larry Page, co-founder of Google and our computerized AI overlords. So,
yeah.
Hey, Google. Also on March 26th, a very good friend of ours, Mr. Chuck Tomasi. Happy birthday, Chuck. March 27th, Quentin Tarantino. Nathan Fillion, Sarah Vaughan, who was a lady of color, who was a jazz singer. She was
phenomenal
wonderful,
singer.
Phenomenal.
Oh, we haven't listened to that Divas thing of yours.
I don't know where that went. It's disappeared on my playlist. It's
on
one
your-
of those playlists that has disappeared out of iTunes. And I'm going to have to find the CD and rip it again.
Yes,
Anyway.
we hate iTunes.
Yes. Have I mentioned that before?
I don't know if you mentioned it on the show.
I say it daily here.
Yeah.
Also on March 27th, Mr. Michael York, who had a wonderful episode on Babylon 5.
Oh, I love that episode.
That was a great episode.
The name went out of my head. What a fantastic episode where he imagines himself to be King Arthur.
Yeah. Also on March 27th, Tony Banks.
Oh, Genesis.
And Gloria Swanson.
What about her middle name?
Yeah, it starts with an F.
Yes.
At least according
According to Sally Fields.
Yeah, in Soap Dish. March 28th, Gareth David Lloyd.
Wonderful gentleman. It was a pleasure being able to talk to him at a fan fest some years back.
Yeah, and he was also in a number of things. He was in
Torchwood,
and
but oh my
also,
God, he was so amazing in I'm Alone.
Yeah, it was
He was
really
wonderful
a
in
great
that.
film. And also on March 28th, Mr. Marlon Perkins, the zookeeper who was always on Johnny Carson.
Well, but not only that, didn't he have
He did the Mutual of
Omaha's Wildlife Kingdom?
Wild Kingdom.
Wild Kingdom, that's it.
Wild Kingdom.
Wild Kingdom.
Also on March 28th, Mr. Bart Connor.
Who Alice Gaiman had a crush on back in the 1980 Olympics.
Exactly.
84.
Exactly. March 29th, Lucy Lawless.
See, now that you've said that, watch our hits. You know, if people can find that Xena story, it's just
hidden.
They'll find it.
I hid it on our website.
They will find it.
Also on March 29th, Mr. Eric Idle.
Whom I met years back in San Francisco at the Tea Garden, and he was Japanese Tea Garden, and just walked right up to him and chatted him up, and what a nice guy.
Yeah, also Vangelis.
Vangelis.
Oh, Vangelis, sorry. Is that his name?
Yeah. Oh, look, next birthday's Joe Hogan.
Yeah. Mr. Joe Hogan.
Oh.
Our friend from Geektitude.
Right.
Happy birthday, Joe. March 30th, Ingvar Kamprad.
Wow, you did that well.
Whose name is equally as impossible to put together as his furniture. He was the founder of IKEA.
Oh,
Yes.
now we know who to blame.
Exactly. Well, he died here a couple of weeks ago, so.
Well, it's fine. I'll find his gravesite and I will still blame him. I will yell at his headstone.
Yes. March 30th also is Eric Clapton, Robbie Coltrane, John Aston, Vincent Van Gogh, and Jethro Tull, the band.
No.
No.
The agriculturalists.
Oh, the agriculturalists.
The band.
I wondered why the band was from 1674. No wonder Ian Anderson was saying he was old.
Well, he's always said he's older than dirt, but you listen to some of their albums, like Songs from the Wood. It's got a nice little, Baroque feel to it.
Yeah. March 31st, William Daniels from 1776. Ewan McGregor, Christopher Walken, and the JSB himself, Johann Sebastian Bach, born in 1685.
And how appropriate that this composer, this next one, should also share a birth date.
And Franz Joseph Haydn, born in 1732.
Yeah, only 47 years later.
Yeah, and another great in the musical genre, Herb Alpert. And René Descartes, born in 1596.
I think, therefore, I am.
Yes. He walked into a bar and the bartender said, "What do you have?" And he says, the bartender says, "You having a beer?" And he says, "I think not," and disappeared.
Disappeared in a puff of smoke.
Yeah, in a puff of smoke. Also on March 31st, Mr. Miguel Rodriguez, founder
of Horrible Imaginings Film Festival and God knows how many other film festivals.
Yeah, exactly. April 1st, Asa Butterfield, Grace Lee Whitney, Debbie Reynolds, and Andreas Deja, who is an animator for Walt Disney.
Right.
And he actually made a legend here a number of years ago for his contributions to the world of animation.
We actually kind of saw him from a distance when we were at the dedication of the animation studio.
Yeah. Also on April 1st, Mr. Lon Chaney.
Senior or junior?
Senior.
Oh, okay. Just want to be sure about that.
Yeah, and that's it for the birthdays this time.
Hi, my name is Joe Hogan, and I'm a geek. And if you're currently listening to this, there's a good chance you're a geek too. So check out my podcast, Geektitude. Each week, I talk with somebody about their geek aptitude. Sometimes I talk to people in a geeky profession. Sometimes it's someone doing something really cool with their geekiness. Often it's another geeky podcaster. But it's always someone who wants to share their inner geek. So join me each week as we come together to geek out about all the geeky stuff we love. And remember, this week, keep it geek.
Go give a listen to our friend Joe Hogan over at Geektitude. Since it's his birthday, we wanted to do something nice. And now it is time for
Trouble.
Trouble. And it's not Trouble. It's Terrible Trouble. It starts with a T and rhymes with P. And that stands for...
I don't know. I'm watching your fingers. You're playing that switchboard again. Or not switchboard, the mixer. Anyway, starting with episode 161. Yeah, we got some comment from Arkle, from Brian Weber. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but we will post a link to Arkle's essay.
Yeah. Well, it was. But he makes some good points. He
made some good points, which and some of that I do actually agree with quite wholeheartedly about pandering. Now, I have to clarify one thing. Jonathan, because this came about during a conversation we had with Jonathan Ladd about some of the casting that was going on in Like a Wrinkle in Time, and Jonathan didn't throw out the P word. That was me.
Yeah, well,
I did that.
It's about representation, and Jonathan was, he was, when he helps young authors or writers, and they throw in a character just because and say, they're black or they're, Indian or they're gay or they're whatever, that there should be a reason for that. And Arkle took an offense to that, and talking more about people need to be represented, whether they are there for a reason or there's a reason in the story for them. And I understand both sides.
I get both sides.
I understand why Jonathan, says that to authors and writers, and I understand why Arkle took offense to that and believes that everybody should be represented. They both have good points. Mm-hmm. And we're going to leave it at that, rather than wade into this discussion. No, we're not going to get into that discussion. But I do need to say, Brian, really, the P word pandering, which is what got you upset, that wasn't Jonathan's doing. That was mine. So I just want to clarify that. Now, he did follow up, because it was a pretty intense essay that he written. He left that comment on our YouTube channel. He then followed up with, I feel I need to balance my serious comment out with a sillier one just so that the next episode doesn't get too dark. So... I'll go with this. In regards to the Avengers Infinity War trailer, what I love about it is in the scene where Star-Lord dismisses Tony's plan, the look on Tony's face just screams, this must be what getting mansplained to feels like. Exactly.
I kind of hope the movie acknowledges that. It was hilarious. It's one of the funniest scenes.
It was.
It was an absolute blast. And then, but Brian doesn't stop, because he's going to torment me to the end of days about shipping.
Shipping.
Yes, and
I shipped my pants.
I don't think that's what he meant.
Oh, is that not what?
No, but that's
not the JCPenney's commercial where I shipped my pants.
Really?
Yeah,
you went there. Okay. Anyway, he follows up with, I don't think I'm going to be letting this one go for a while. Thank you. So he included a link to a video called I Ship It. We'll have the link for that in our show notes as well, just so that people can continue to mock me.
No ship.
Bullshit. And then he adds, I might just make it a habit to start throwing around random shipper terminology into the comments under every episode. Yeah, see, I told you, it was not going away.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Oh, and then thank you, Hamish. He decides to wade into this one as well and says, I think this is somehow relevant. And now there's a website called C as in SEA, See Captain Date, Find Your First Mate.
Uh-huh.
So it's a website for people who really want to ship.
I see.
I know. Yeah,
Oh, ship.
I'm this. Yeah, this is a stinking pile of shit.
It is.
So moving on.
Anyway,
we got a comment from Jonathan Ladd, who was our guest in last week's episode, and he said, "So much fun! Thanks for having me in the studio this weekend. Love hanging out with you guys, and it was great having him here." And then we got a comment from Mark Biaggi on that.
You wrote Marcy Biaggi.
Marcy, I did. Thank you for sharing that. Now I'm going to get ridiculed even more so.
I fixed it for you.
Oh yeah, great. But see, the word is out there now. Everybody knows what I wrote. Oy vey. Anyway, Mark wrote, "Are you boys coming to WonderCon?" The answer is no. We could not make it. Too many things going on. However, we do have representation down there.
Our contributor Rose at Comic-Con as we speak.
Comic-Con?
WonderCon.
Zap.
Wonderful Con.
Wonderful Comic-Con.
Yeah.
That's it.
Whatever it is that's going on today.
Yeah, the thing that's got just tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of people there. It's Anaheim's answer to San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And then we also got a comment from Tommy Cannon. And he wrote, "You're right. I'm from New Jersey, not Boston. I have no right to use the word wicked in such a cavalier fashion." And then he adds up with, "P.S. Yes, WB needs to not do the catch-up game. Their TV and animation games are so strong. Let Marvel crush it with live-action feature films and let WB conquer TV with some bright spots of animation. Lego Batman was great," which we have not seen yet.
Yeah.
We need to see
Why
that.
haven't we seen that?
I don't know. We haven't seen that yet. Teen Titans Go is great as well. Also, Martian Manhunter will be awesome as a star of a CGI animated feature film.
Yeah.
Well, I think you got some good points there. And then last week we had, actually it was last Saturday, we had a really nice little Social Saturday article that was written by Jeannie Koch. And it's about the Marietta Diner in Marietta, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta. And just to know that, and we'll have the link for that article on our show notes for this episode at tggeeks.com, but just to know that Jeannie was not just saying something just because. She then added a comment saying that she was going there for lunch as of yesterday when we are recording this. So if you're listening to this on Monday, it was the last Saturday.
Yeah.
So she went back there.
Which Saturday?
Last Saturday.
Okay.
That would be the 23rd.
Yes.
Saturday, March 23rd. She wrote, "Going there for lunch today," as a matter of fact. Yay for her.
Yay.
And then lastly, we had a review for Pacific Rim Uprising. And we'll have the link for that review in our show notes as well. And we got a comment from the podfather himself, Michael R. Meningay, who I remember when the first Pacific Rim was coming out, we were talking about it on Slice, and he was like, "How can you not love a movie? It's robot on robot porn."
Yeah. Well, robot on kaiju. Yeah.
Well, he called it robot on robot
Yeah.
porn. And he's, I will not say what the review was. I can just point you to that. Anyway, he simply replied with, "Exactly what I was expecting, sigh." And that is our feedback for this week.
Yeah, about our comments. If you want to leave a comment about anything that we have talked about in this episode or anything that we have written about in any of the articles on our website or anything that's posted on Facebook, you can do that at tggeeks.com. You can leave a comment on our website. Hello. Where am I today?
You're killing me, Smalls.
I'm killing me. You can leave a comment on our articles at tggeeks.com, or you can do it on our Facebook page. You can also do it on Twitter and the Twitters and the Facebooks and all those other places. And if you would like to, you may call our listener feedback line and comment on air, and we will play that on air. 469-TGGeeks. That is 469-844-3357. Thank God that's over.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to hear their identification. They're the two gay geeks. They can go about their business. Move along.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Oh, good. Anyway, a couple of things we want to hit on.
Yeah.
Of course, As everybody who follows us regularly, they know that we're big fans of Arizona Opera, and wow, they are gearing up for what's going to be one heck of a season closer.
Absolutely, they are doing Richard Wagner's Das Rheingold, which is the first opera in the four opera cycle.
Yes,
and we got we didn't get to hear anything
from the opera
from Rheingold.
We did hear one of the singers who will be actually two.
Yeah,
they're both going to be in this.
Yeah.
One of them, we heard a bass baritone. He's going to be playing, singing the role of Donner.
And his voice,
wow.
Oh my God. And I said to one of the staff of Arizona Opera, I said, if this guy is playing Donner, who has maybe a total of 4 minutes of singing in the entire
really
opera.
Singing.
I mean, he's on stage for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, but he has like a line here, a line here, and a line here.
Yeah.
You total that up, and that makes maybe it reaches 4 minutes worth of on-stage singing.
Absolutely.
But his voice was amazing.
Oh, my God. I said, if this is any indication of what the rest of the cast is going to be, we are in for a real treat.
Hokey smokes Bullwinkle. This is going to be one heck of a treat. I cannot wait. And we made mention of that to the artistic director, general manager of Arizona Opera, and he kind of smiled at us, and he went, "Yep, you're right."
And they're actually going to make use of the new technology that was brought in for
Riders of the Purple Sage.
Right? Yeah, but Riders of the Purple Sage, and it's a what is it? It's LCD
it's like a type of LCD screen, but
it's huge.
It's absolutely monumental, and the resolution on this thing is breathtaking.
Yeah,
and this is going to allow them to just do some amazing visuals.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait to see what they're going to do with this one. This is going to be just exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. And I've heard good things around ticket sales on this one too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really a good one.
I think this is going to be a whiz banger to go out on.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really am. It's one of those things that you don't get to see live very often.
Well, we're lucky, and we have.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw it in L.A.
We saw it in L.A.
and it was just
that was amazing.
It was incredible.
It was surreal. But it was totally amazing. We've seen, of course, live in HD. But now to be able to see Arizona Opera do it, I think is going to be just fantastic. I'm very excited about it.
Absolutely, I'm excited. And we've got another thing that we want to talk about, and that is
something a little movie that we've talked about and had interviews with in the past. I'm talking about Chimera.
Yeah. It's going to be premiering at the Phoenix Film Festival, which is April 5th through the 15th. 5th through the 15th.
Yeah.
And the first day that it's going to show is on Friday, and I'm trying to look for it. I should have pulled this open earlier. And Friday at 11:20. To 12:40, and it's 80 minutes long. It's showing Friday, April 13th at 11:20, Saturday, April 14th at 1:25, and Sunday, April 15th at 2:10. And this is the movie that Maurice Himes, that we talked to him and interviewed him, and it is just a really fantastic film. And this was had originally thought this was going to be the premiere of the film, but actually there's one that's taking place the day before.
Boston, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but this one is the one that they've got 3 showings, and we are going to be there for at least 2 of them.
Yes.
So
I'm
Saturday
very, very excited about this.
I believe that Maurice is going to be there. There's going to be a couple of other people from the film that are going to be at least the Saturday showing, if not the Sunday. So I'm excited about that.
Very happy that this movie is now finally going to be getting this kind of push, and to see it on a big screen too.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not one of these stupendously visual films that benefit from being on a big screen, but I think to be in a theater.
But there's always something about seeing a film on the big screen.
Oh yeah, it's a special experience. There's no question about it, and to see it with an audience, I think will really help to make all the difference.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we're terribly excited about that. So yay, go Chimera.
Come see us at the Phoenix Film Festival.
Yeah, we will be there.
And we have a weekly review of all the things that we've run on our website for the week. And this just kind of a recap in case you only listen to the webcast. You can go to our website at tggeeks.com and you can check out all of the stuff we're trying to do at a daily publishing and publish something on a daily basis to draw people in and get a little more traffic. Of course, Mondays we release our episode. We had episode 161 last Monday, and we have an episode we had a release on Tuesday, an essay about Madeleine L'Engle from Andrea Richoff, who is one of our writers. And Madame L'Engle is the one that...
she wrote A Wrinkle in Time.
A Wrinkle in Time. On Wednesday, we had another entry from Jeannie on our Old Classics Newly Reviewed, and she did Steven Soderbergh's Oceans 11 through 13. She put all three of them together in one. On Thursday, we had 3-episode thoughts by Ben on Future Man. And we also had Ben's review of Pacific Rim Uprising. Friday was another installment of Hamish's new sushi, and we had a new little logo for him this time. So he was kind of excited about that. Mm-hmm. Saturday, we did Social Saturday, another entry in that for Marietta Diner that Jeannie Koch did. And on Sunday, we had a Spotlight Sunday on Neil and Jana Halford. We had a trailer that Ro did for Season 3 of The Badlands.
She covered that, from WonderCon.
Picked that up from WonderCon. And you can find all these things at tggeeks.com as well as entries on our Facebook page. Please go to the website or our Facebook page and visit and comment. And, of course, we always have our follow-up items. Check out our calendar on the website. We're going to have cons, birthdays, film festivals, etc. Check it out. If you have something, send us a note. Speaking of film festivals, Phoenix Film Festival, April 5th through the 15th at the Harkins Scottsdale 101.
We need to sit down and actually book which films we're going to watch.
We just got
the program.
VIP passes in our program, so we're going to have to figure out which films we want to go see and get those tickets. They're going to have over 250 films, and last year they had 25,000 attendees over 11 days.
I don't know how the heck we're going to live blog this thing.
It's
a lot. I need to clone myself.
Yep, exactly. Phoenix Comic Fest takes place at the Convention Center May 24th through the 27th, 2018. And Arizona Opera, as we talked about, presents Das Rheingold, playing in Phoenix on April 6th through the 8th and Tucson on April 14th and 15th. Tickets are still available at azopera.org. Check out the 3rd edition of Podcasting for Dummies, written by T. Morris and Chuck Tomasi, the birthday boy. Go to podcastingfordummies.com. And as everybody knows, we are huge supporters of independent creators, whether they are filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, or others. Please support them by buying their stuff and saying good things about them, writing reviews if they're writers, etc. And we want to give a special shout out to our friend and expert travel agent, Teresa Corey of Fairy Godmother Travel. She is a small independent travel agent specializing in all things Disney. She can do wonders with finding a Disney vacation to fit your needs. Check out the widget on the right-hand side of the page for more info and tell her Ben and Keith sent you.
Special shout out to Doctor Who Talking Who on Twitter. They publish the Doctor Who Fancast Guide, which republishes many of our stories and episodes. You can find the Fancast Guide by going to Twitter, searching at Talking Who. Also, special shout out to Arkle. On Twitter, he is known as the Human Arkle. That will be Brian Weber. He puts out the Arkle Times Post Dispatch News, and you can find that by going to Twitter and searching for at Arkle. Also, he does have a presence on Tumblr. Check out the Incorrect Star Trek Voyager quotes. It's good for a great laugh, but, as with all things, never do it while you're at work because you don't want to have your boss catching you and doing things that are inappropriate. Lastly, we have to do a special shout out to the Facebook group, The Gay Geek, because they allow us to post our episodes there on their page. The URL is facebook.com/group/The Gay Geek. And as always, special thanks to moderator Jeremiah Reeves for allowing us to share our content there.
Yes, thank you, Jeremiah. We want to remind you to occasionally click on our Amazon ads. You can usually find them at the bottom of each article in the webcast. You can find the widgets on the side of the pages. Just click on them. You don't have to buy anything, but if you choose to buy something, use one of our search ads. And lastly, check us out on iHeartRadio. Please rate us and review us on iTunes and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We thank you for your time. Up next week, we're going to have a couple of conversations. One with Chuck Tomasi about
Altered Carbon
and our thoughts on that. And then in the second segment, we're going to have a chat with Chuck and Craig about Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, the long postponed conversation.
Yes,
and wrap up thoughts about Discovery.
Yeah, and so we're going to be doing that. And so next week, we're actually going to record that here just momentarily, and we won't have any feedback in that episode because we're going to take a break. We're
taking a break.
Run away to Disneyland for the weekend.
So hey, if any of you listeners are going to be out in the Disneyland area next weekend, let us know because we will be there.
Yep. Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We're going to have several links on the page of things we talked about. And you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357 from TG Squared Studios. I am Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. I bid you peace.
Cheers.